Today we're going to be taking a look at my top 5 favorite water Pokemon card arts in Astral Radiance, okay? This is my top 5. May not be your top 5. It may not even be an objective top 5. It could be objectively the worst top 5 on the internet. However, this is my top 5. And I based the card arts off of the uniqueness, just how much I like it, and then also how the Pokemon it's supposed to represent is represented in it, right? A good example is in our last video, Lilligant's position changed a little bit because Feel is the main Pokemon on the front of the card, even though that's not his card. So those are a few factors I take in effect, but today we're going to just jump right on into it. Starting off at number 5 is Radiant Greninja, okay? Very beautiful card. It's the first of 3 of the new Radiant Rare Pokemon. Radiant Rare is kind of a mixture between the baby shinies from Shining Fates and Hidden Fates and the amazing rares from Vivid Voltage Shining Fates. Shining Fates have both of those. Didn't notice that. So it's kind of a mixture of both of those. Really beautiful cards. If you've seen them on the internet, it does not do them justice. In person, the holo effect is just beautiful, which is why Radiant Greninja makes it to our number 5 spot, right? One, that holo pattern is just fantastic, but 2, the art itself. It's standing on a little cliff face by itself, off in the horizon of the sun. This could fit perfectly in Naruto, right? For instance, can't forget Greninja is a ninja. He's a water ninja because he's a frog, right? Which is why he's surrounded by water in the picture. But you have the sunset coming in, the changing of the horizon from the colors of the sunset, and that all just perfectly complements the radiant effect that the card has. And it can be hard to tell on this card, but the Greninja is actually a black Greninja, not a blue Greninja, so it is a shiny Pokemon. Coming in at number 4 is Mantine. For you, those of you who don't know, in the first series he came out in Johto, Remoraid was actually attached under his wing, right? But after each series after that, in the games, Mantine's actually not depicted with a Remoraid under his armpit, right? Mantine was supposed to be a fighter jet, right? And Remoraid's supposed to be a gun. So they kind of mixed the two to have it like that, but then people started thinking they were like a fusion Pokemon or something, so they ended up doing away with it. But Mantine, again, beautiful art. This one is a good representation of what the Pokemon is doing, why I like it, right? So again, you have the very beautiful sunrise, right? Sunrises in water, can't beat it, okay? So you have the beautiful sunrise coming in, but you have it freshly jumping out the water. You can see the water splashing. I like the way they painted this. Looks like they used watercolors, right, to paint it. There's no hard lines in the splash. Same thing in the background. There's no real hard lines. It's very, I don't want to say hazy, but blurred. And I love that, especially with the horizon look. And just hopping right over to number 3. This is one you guys may disagree with me on, okay? We have a lot of these. There's some people just find beautiful and they just rub me the wrong way, and this is one of those. That is Starmie V. Altar, right, from the Trainer Gallery. This is the one with Misty and Starmie swimming in the pool. I like the colors. I don't know anything about art, but I'm gonna say this looks pastel. I probably don't know what that means, but there's just a certain color, a certain style here. It's nice, but I'm personally not a massive fan of it. Not because of the style itself, but because of how crowded the image looks, right? Starmie is up in front, and it is a trainer card, so a trainer gallery card, so you do see Misty floating around in the pool with Starmie, and we all know we love a little first gen nostalgia thrown in. However, I just feel like there's too much going on in the picture. There's a beach ball, flowers everywhere, a floating tray, a beach tree, and they even drew lines in the water to, I don't know what it is. looks like there's flowers floating above their heads and it's shadowing the vines. I don't know. That's the thing that just really throws this card off for me. I love that Misty's in it. I love the colors. I like Starmie's position in the picture, how they're just floating and chilling. I love the style of it. The approach really failed for me. So I do still like the card better than the other two, of course. That's why it's higher. But this could have easily taken the top spot if it wasn't for those flaws. If you guys notice, I'm usually more critical of the middle group than I am the beginning or the end. Simply because I usually have to sit down and like just go over it for a while, pick it apart, and decide why it's not top, why it's not bottom. So I'm a lot more critical of the middle ones, mainly because they had high potential and they just didn't meet that potential. So looking at the attack, its first attack is Swift. This attack damage isn't affected by weaknesses or resistances or by any other of your opponent's effects. Second attack is Energy Spiral. This attack does 50 damage for each energy attached to it. I do not know what is up with water Pokemon in the TCG, but so many of them have those type of attacks where more energy you put on them, the more attacks they do. They're really fun decks to run. I actually try constantly to make a good water deck. I use the Icerider Calyrex on the online game. And I always try and throw in a Pokemon that is damage based off the energy on it, and try to throw in Flossmoth and Lapras VMAX right now. It's just not the best deck to run, but it's always a lot of fun. All right, moving on to number 2. And this is where people are going to hate me because I didn't put Misty above this one. But coming in at number 2 is Icerider Calyrex V, the Trainer Gallery, okay? Now, shout out to the VMAX as well. I really like the VMAX. I actually like the VMAX in the Trainer Gallery better than the original alt art, right? The alt art of the alt art, okay? However, on that one, it's much like what Misty's card had issues with, which was there's too much going on in the picture, right? This is an example of exactly why I like in some cards. I've told you guys, I get the hiccups for some reason as soon as I get on camera. No idea why. A little sip of tea. Let's see if this fixes it. Let's see if that worked. Okay. So again, this is a prime example of what Misty failed at, and this one capitalized on, and that is simplicity. Okay. You got Calyrex standing on the mountaintop of snow. You have its trainer in front. Mountains in the background, very simple sky, right? In the last picture, they just had so much stuff going on in the water. I feel like if they did that in this one, there would just be stars left and right, a spaceship coming down, a rocket going to the moon, Bruce Willis trying to destroy a comet. Everything would be going on in the background right here, right? However, they kept it simple. Add on top of that, the coloring. Astral Radiance, we talked about in the last video, did this really unique haze on all the cards. You can see them in the pictures, but especially in person, you'll notice they have like a little bit of a haziness, right? It kind of smoothens. Am I even saying that? Smoothens. Oh god. Smoothens the photo out versus making it extremely sharp. And I've been liking that about Astral Radiance so much. And this card really does that, though. There's a little bit of a blur to everything and allows the colors to kind of blend in. This card makes me think of those paintings. I'd see these growing up of like, it would just be some random wilderness scene. We had one hanging in our house that had Everett right on the mailbox. And it just reminds me of that. Beautiful painting. It doesn't look like a card, it looks like a piece of art, right? A simplistic piece of art, which is another reason I like it. This card's attacks are pretty straightforward. Pierce does 40 damage. Glacial Lance does 200 damage. Discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. You guys are going to get used to this with me, that I cannot pronounce words very well. For some of you guys who don't know, I was actually deaf growing up. I couldn't hear till much later in my development. Not much later, I mean, but much further than I should have been able to start talking. My parents didn't realize I was having issues until I was like 4 or 5 when I should have been speaking, and I wasn't. I would slur my words, and it turned out I had water build up in my ears I couldn't hear. So after they got that fixed, I was in speech class till about 15. I do a lot of public speaking, and a lot of people tell me I speak well. However, I do have certain words where it's not that I stutter, it's that I physically can't like make the sound for whatever reason. So like my tongue gets tied, and like the more I think about the word, the more I physically don't feel like I can say it. I'll just sit there and like anytime you guys hear me make a little pronunciation mistakes, feel free to comment and laugh at me. I've gone through enough lessons. I know I'm doing it wrong. I'm working on I shouldn't say I'm working on it. I honestly don't work on it anymore. It's just something that pops up from time to time, usually when I'm reading fast. So bear with me anytime that happens. Feel free to make fun of me. I make fun of me. So, all right, guys. For the piece de resistance, the creme de la creme. I can say French words fine, but I can't say English words fine. Creme de la creme of the water card arts in Astral Radiance. And that is Kindred, okay? Kindred comes in at number 1. I love this card art. You could maybe say why I did it with Misty's, that there's a lot going on. However, it makes sense. Misty, the one with Starmie and Misty, there's a lot going on, but the Pokemon and Misty weren't doing anything. They're just chilling, right? Kindred, there's a lot going on in the scene, but it's purposeful, right? The waters are flying past it. There's leaves falling back. It's specifically to give you the feel that it's swimming up current, and it does that perfectly, right? I love the blue of Kindred. Matches its trainer's hairs perfectly, but then you have the contrast of the orange leaves of the tree in the background, right? Versus everything being one color, very similar to the Calyrex in the last one. Everything was blue or gray, right? Blue, gray, and white. That's fine. It looks fantastic. However, here you have very contrasting colors, and it works for me. So one, it's a scene. It's not just art. Something's happening in the scene. Kindred is saving the life of this woman, okay? Or this woman is saving the life of Kindred. Something's going on. It's dramatic. It's amazing, and it just makes this card art work. It attacks our Deep Sea King. When your active Pokemon is knocked out by damage from attack from your opponent's Pokemon, you may move any amount of water energy from that Pokemon to this Pokemon. So this is actually a card I like to use on my team. Not in the trainer gallery version because I haven't played with it yet, but the normal version. You throw this on your bench, and as your Pokemon die, who are gaining water energy, so this is a great card for decks that the more energy you put on, the more damage they do. So then as the Pokemon dies, then you can just put the energy on Kindred, which leads to its attack. This attack does 40 damage for each energy attached to this Pokemon. Like we were talking about earlier, for some reason, water Pokemon love stacking attacks per energy, which I love. Again, it's a fun deck to run. And if you're going to be playing with this card in your deck, you're going to win because your opponent's going to be too dazed and amazed at how beautiful this card is, and he's going to let you win, okay? Either time's going to run out or he's going to make mistakes. But that's it for our top 5 of the water Pokemon. I hope you guys are enjoying the series. I really enjoy making these. One, the talking on the camera part, but I love making the graphics that you guys see going on in the background sometimes. I spend a lot of time on those. I just think it's a lot of fun. So be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And then don't forget to check out our top 5 grass Pokemon in the link I'm going to post here. You guys have a good day.